Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning, for all of us at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, for our meditation. I'm going to open today's meditation with a reading from one of my favorite books, 365, Science of Mind, by Ernest Holmes. The title of the reading is, I Recognize My Identity with Spirit. My knowledge that the great I Am is ever available gives me an increasing capacity to draw upon it and to become inwardly aware of the presence of Spirit. Through the quiet contemplation of the omni-action of Spirit, I learn to look quietly and calmly upon every false condition, seeing through it to the other side of the invisible reality that molds conditions and recreates all my affairs after a more nearly divine pattern. With a penetrating spiritual vision, I can dissipate the obstruction, remove the obstacle, dissolve the wrong condition. Standing still, I can watch the sure salvation of the law. And now, with some quiet music, we will enter meditation for about 15 minutes. I will bring you out of the meditation with the completion of the reading. Thank you. And now, slowly, quietly, bring yourself back into the room. I'm going to finish our meditation with the remainder of the reading by Ernest Holmes. I now claim health instead of sickness, wealth instead of poverty, happiness instead of misery. In such degree as I gain mastery over the sense of negation, whether it be pain or poverty, I am proving the law of good. Every thought of fear or limitation is removed from my consciousness. I know that my word transmutes every energy into constructive action, producing health, harmony, happiness, and success. I know there is something at the center of my being that is absolutely certain of itself. It has complete assurance, and it gives me complete assurance that all is well. I maintain my position as a divine being, here and now. Thank you for joining us for meditation today, helping us to prepare the space for our celebration service, which will begin at 10:45. See you then.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together. Together in one song.
Together we are whole. Thank you so very much, Cindy. I love that song. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. For those of you that might not know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the pleasure and the privilege of being this community's senior minister. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, and we believe that there is one power and presence, and that it goes by many different names, but it is benevolent. It is loving. It is everywhere at all times, ready, willing, and able to give us the kingdom of heaven on earth. We believe that it is that power and presence that created everything that we can see, everything that we cannot see. And because we were created in its image and likeness, we too have that ability to create. That we have, in fact, been creating through our thoughts and our deeply held beliefs, the experiences of our lives. And what we are called to do is to come together in community to support each other as we now begin to consciously do so. That if we do not like the experience that we are having, that we have the ability to co-create a different experience simply by changing our thoughts, changing our deeply held beliefs. We are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. We gather together to express love, celebrate life, grow spiritually, practice total acceptance and inclusion, and to connect with one another. What we are really about is making and providing a supportive community where we can explore our own spiritual path and connect to the divinity and wisdom within us. We welcome all of you that have been attending our services and our classes and all of our special events, and we welcome those of you who are visiting for the very first time. We see all of you. We know who you really are. We appreciate you and we celebrate you. We are grateful that you have chosen to include us in your morning. Now, it is with tremendous excitement that I share some really wonderful news. We are coming back together as a community, woohoo! In person, live on Sunday, July 11th. Through the grace of divine right action and the loving generosity of a beautiful angel, Desi Slava Nikovala, we will be meeting at our regular meditation and service times at a lovely location called Sophie's Grill and Bar. Sophie's Grill and Bar is located at 2734 North Carolina 55 in Cary, North Dakota. It is kind of at the junction of High House and 55. Now, while we're coming back to live services, we will continue to be streaming both Facebook on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So if you are unable or not ready in this moment to come back live, you can still always connect with us through the technology of live streaming. In this moment, we will only be meeting in person on Sunday. Our Wednesday services and our classes will continue to be facilitated on Zoom. Please know that this is just the beginning of our return, that we will be adding more in-person activities such as game nights, picnics, bingo, and other events, and we will let you know through constant contact, our Wednesday newsletter, what we have created and when it will be happening. With the CDC and the state of North Carolina discontinuing many COVID-19 restrictions, our community will also be loosening our restrictions. There will be no temperature taking, no masks for those who have been vaccinated, and no social distancing requirements. We will continue, however, to strongly encourage those who have not yet been vaccinated for COVID-19 to continue wearing masks while visiting. As the great pandemic of 20 and through 21 continues to wind down, TCSL is rising up and stepping into our highest and best expression. We invite you and encourage you to join us as we embark on this wonderful renewed journey. Whether you join us in person or you tune into our live stream, we will see you at 10:15 for meditation and 10:45 for our celebration service. And I am so excited to be telling you this. And what I want you to really notice is in this slide, notice our tagline. The tagline for the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is Welcome Home. The tagline for Sophie's Grill and Bar is Welcome Home. This truly is a match made in heaven. And I am so grateful and so excited. My gratitude and appreciation also goes out to Diane Carnes, one of our licensed spiritual practitioners who facilitated a beautiful meditation to set the stage for our services to unfold within. Thank you so very much, Diane. And now please join me in welcoming another one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, Heather Abbott. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you, Dusty. Good morning, community. It is my honor to be here today. Our theme for the month of June is The Soul's Call. Our talk title for today is Pushed by Pain. Holding vigil for us today, which means staying in a meditative space throughout the service, holding the space for us to have a transformative experience, is one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, Diane Carnes. Thank you so much, Diane. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on this planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome Lissa Coulter, who will be assisting us this morning. Good morning, Lissa.
Good morning. It's wonderful to see you.
Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. I now invite you to join Cindy Johnson as she sings our opening congregational song.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day. You've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you've got to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
I just love that. Now I would like to ask you to please close your outer eyes and turn within, knowing in this moment that there is only one of us, and that one is God, that universal spirit, that love, that one presence that is back of all that exists. I am so grateful to know that love exists, that love is everywhere all of the time, supporting us, fueling us, funding us, loving us. I know I am one with that source. I know that is the truth of me, as I know that is the truth of each of us. I'd like to speak a word of blessing today on Diane Carnes, who led us in a beautiful meditation that set the container for this service. I speak a word of blessing on Reverend Dusty for the message that she will bring forth, knowing that she is a funnel for the wisdom and intelligence of the universe in delivering this message to us today. I speak a word of blessing on Cindy Johnson for her generous gift of music today that touches our hearts and opens us up to the divine message today. And I speak a word of blessing on Ava as she handles the AV duties, keeping us looking good and sounding good. So appreciate her. And a word of blessing on Lissa as she represents our beloved community today and assisting us. And a word of blessing on our community, on all of our members and all of the guests viewing us today. I am knowing that we are all in God's love, that we are held and supported, and that we are all on this journey together, creating this world that works for everyone. Please join me in anchoring this prayer with our words, and so it is. Thank you so much. Today's reading is by Ernest Holmes. He reminds us, there is this question, however, which naturally rises: why all the suffering, sorrow, and pain? Why has tragedy accompanied the journey of men? There is no other way through which true individuality can evolve. Man must be let alone to discover himself, else be compelled arbitrarily to follow one road, in which case he would be an automaton and not an individual. When our life is not working the way we would like, pain invites us to revisit our purpose and consciously redirect our path. Now, please welcome, live in studio, Cindy Johnson.
Thank you, Heather. It's always so good to see you all. And let's join together in listening to these words of wisdom. I have walked through the desert. I have cried through the night. Spent my life wearing blinders. I could not see the light. Then one day I surrendered, and I fell to my knees. Heard a whisper, there's magic in everything you see. And we're standing in the middle of a miracle. Standing in the middle of a miracle. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full. Anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. We beg and plead like we're paupers, when in fact our lives are rich. It's like sitting in the darkness, not knowing there's a switch. And we're standing in the middle of a miracle. Standing in the middle of a miracle. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how happens when your heart is full. Anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. This sacred journey from life to death. This very moment. This very breath. And we're standing in the middle of a miracle. Standing in the middle of a miracle. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full. Anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Oh, we're standing in the middle
absolutely beautiful, Cindy. I don't think that I have ever heard that song before. I don't remember that you've ever sang it. I don't think I've ever heard anyone else sing it. But it was absolutely perfect for today. Thank you so very much. So the theme of the month of June, as Heather said earlier, is the soul's call, and my talk title is Pushed by Pain. And I've added a little tagline that says, lean into the discomfort. In his book, The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer says, one of the essential requirements for true spiritual growth and deep personal transformation is coming to peace with pain. Coming to peace with pain. The truth is that at some point in time, we will all experience hardship and pain on this journey that we're on through life. It may seem that some people experience a lot more pain while others are experiencing what we might call an easy life. But the reality is that each and every single one of us will experience some form of pain. And for us, whatever our experience of pain is, it is real and it is dense and it is unique. No experience of pain is ever exactly the same. Not our experience compared to anyone else. No experience of pain is ever exactly the same. Most of us have a very interesting relationship with pain. Typically, we deal with it by trying to reduce it or relieve it or eliminate it or kill it or deny it. Now, as with our experience of pain, our relationship to pain varies from person to person also. What is common for most people, however, is that we usually try to avoid it. When it arises in our lives, we try to push it down as quickly as possible, hoping that it will vanish and that we can return to a relatively pain-free space and time. It rarely does, however. We may wear a brave face or shrug it off, but in the quiet moments, those quiet times, those quiet hours of the day, it rises up, wanting and really looking to be acknowledged and to be healed. We tend to have a lot of rules about what we should and what we should not feel. When it comes to pain or struggle or hardship or discomfort, it's almost as if we don't know that we would be able to survive if we were to allow ourselves to experience it in its entirety. So we try to avoid it. And our avoidance of it inevitably leads to more problems that we have to go through, more troubles that we have to endure and overcome in the long term. Our avoidance of it can sabotage all of our relationships and really limit our experience of fulfillment in our lifetime. One way that avoidance shows up for us is through our habits. Habits are distractions, and I hate to tell you, we all have them. They often become mechanisms which stop us from identifying with the truth of the pain underneath the habits. So we have this habit, and underneath it, there is pain. And underneath that is the truth of it. But our habits mask the truth from us. They suddenly become all that we can see. And so we don't see that underlying pain. Through habits, we avoid identifying our pain, whether that pain is physical or mental or emotional or spiritual. On their most simplest level, habits are patterns of destructive thinking. Habits in this conversation can be those that can be really all of the things that we think about ourselves, that we tell ourselves, or about our lives that really have absolutely nothing to do with the truth, that they don't reflect the truth of who we are. Or those habits in this conversation could be addictions like excessive drinking or taking drugs or overworking or overeating or overspending or oversexing, anything that takes us out of the present moment, out of really being present for that present moment. When we are in our habits, it can feel uncomfortable to stay there, but it can also feel very uncomfortable to try to get out of them. When we're in this space, we can feel stuck in our destructive thinking or stuck in our destructive actions. When we are in them, they are very good at seemingly shrouding us from that light within. We forget who we are. We forget who we are, like Cindy sang about. We forget who we are, and that we can actually drop our habits at any time if we were to really remember the truth of who we are, if we were to really remember that we are standing in the middle of a miracle right now. So often we will try and change the external to avoid our habit. We may try to push it away with more habits that we don't even know that we are using or engaging in. We might think that we can control it, and that by controlling it that we can stop the pain, but it rarely does it work that way. We live our lives from the inside out and not from the outside in. The issue is that we so often believe that our habits and the thoughts that support those habits are who we really are. But that's not the truth of us. That's not the truth. The truth is that we are not our habits. We are not our pain. We are not our distractions. We are not our discomfort. We are really and truly who we were when we arrived on the planet, before we started to think that we were all of these different things, before we started to think that we were our habits or that we were our pain. Our habits and our pain are simply human mechanisms which facilitate greater opportunities for us to learn about who we are underneath all that we think we are. They're just stunningly beautiful lessons there to remind us that we are here on this planet at this time to really experience life in all of its fullness, whatever is brought to us. Beautiful lessons that remind us that there is nothing to do but to gently lean into the pain and discomfort, remembering to use them to assist us to return back to the wisdom of our hearts, to return back to the truth of who we are, to remember that we're living in that miracle. It's only by doing our inner work of self-inquiry into our habits and pain that we can really walk a path toward profound learning and spiritual growth and transformation. In a blog called Raw Nerve, the author Robert Schwartz quotes a man named Ray Dalio, who says, "It is a fundamental law of nature that to evolve, one has to push one's limits, which is painful, in order to gain strength, whether it is in the form of lifting weights, facing problems head on, or in any other way. Nature gave us pain as a messaging device to tell us that we are approaching or that we have exceeded our limits in some way. At the same time, nature has made the process of getting stronger, requiring us to push our limits. Gaining strength is the adaptation process of the body and the mind to encountering one's limits, which is painful. In other words, both pain and strength typically result from encountering one's barriers. When we encounter pain, we are at an important juncture in our decision-making process. As I was reading this quote, I was thinking about my own experience of exercising, and I realized that, that while I know it can be painful, that if that was all that I knew about it, I never would have exercised a day in my life. I would have avoided it like the plague. But instead, I have exercised before, and I will continue to exercise because I know that in the long run, it makes me healthier, it makes me stronger, it makes me more confident. This long-term thinking allows me to push through the pain and ultimately experience the benefits of exercise even in the face of it. I can even remember times in which I was excited by the pain. I wanted the pain because it told me that I was asking more from my body than I had ever asked of it before, and that it was responding positively to my requests. I wanted to feel that pain. I wanted to feel the burn, as we used to call it back when dating myself, I guess. It's important to our growth. It's important to our evolution. Psychological pain can be like that too. Psychological pain involves those things that we don't want to think about, those things that we don't want to deal about, those wounds that we all have, that we all carry around with us, that rear their heads at times when we least expect it. Often the ones that are the most important to us are the ones that we avoid the most because they are so painful. They are the ones where the stakes are the highest, and our desire to avoid them or to try to avoid dealing with them at all costs are the highest. The invitation is, instead of avoiding pain, that we understand that it actually represents an opportunity to grow and to evolve. That instead of running from the pain, we see it as an opportunity to become our highest and best self. When we encounter the pain and we actually deal with it, it's a chance for us to get better, to get stronger, to become healthier or more confident. Instead of turning away from the pain, the invitation is to lean into it, to lean into the discomfort. Leaning into the pain is an extension of that idea of getting out of our comfort zones. The only way that we can grow and evolve is when we go outside of it, go outside of our comfort zone. And naturally, that can cause pain. However, if we allow it, the pain can be an indicator that we have actually taken that first step, that we are on the road. And that's the good news, especially if we have a desire to really grow and to evolve and to transform. It's necessary for that. The invitation is that the next time we start feeling, that sense of pain that tells us to avoid a subject or avoid making a choice or a particular plan of action, that we ignore it. That instead we lean into the pain. None of us enjoys painful experiences, but instead of avoiding the pain or ignoring the pain or pretending that it doesn't exist, we can actually choose to use it in a really positive way. We have choice in the matter, and we can choose to accept it and to be with it and to not resist it and to use it in a really positive and powerful way. The invitation is to embrace our own particular journey with pain or discomfort, to confront it, to acknowledge it, and to heal it. We always have choice. Instead of avoiding it, we can choose to embrace it as an opportunity for growth or for healing or for awakening to a higher level of consciousness or for deepening our experience with love. We can choose to be more resolute in our faith and align our actions with our core values. Carl Jung says, those who look outside dream. Those who look inside awaken. The bottom line is that pain or discomfort invites us to awaken. It invites us to look deeper inside of ourselves. This morning I have 3 talking points that illustrate this point of view. Number 1, pain is the perfect fertilizer. Our lives go through seasons just like a garden does. Pain is like the fertilizer that we use to prepare the soil or the grasses or the flowers or the tree to grow. Fertilizers work by providing the necessary nutrients required for a strong and healthy plant. So the questions we can ask ourselves or that we can take into meditation could be, how is my pain providing me an essential ingredient that is required for my growth and evolution? Or what is my pain pushing me or guiding me to release or to embrace or to enhance or to substitute in order to achieve the dynamic, meaningful, and fulfilling life that I really wish to live? The invitation is to think of pain as preparing the soil of our lives to represent and to carry out the deepest call of our soul. Number 2, pain is not punishment. Often when we are experiencing some kind of pain, we blame ourselves. We think that we must have done something wrong. The truth is that it is more likely that we have either set a clear intention to grow or that we have identified a deep desire within us to change. Those 2 things are more likely. Therefore, anything not in alignment with that new intention or that deep desire absolutely must come up to be healed. And in doing that, we might experience pain and discomfort. The invitation is to recognize how today's painful experience is assisting us to move away from something that is out of alignment with our deepest desires and intentions, and instead pushing us toward what we really want, who we really want to be, our highest and best self. Now is the time to get rid of anything that is a barrier to our best life. In Science of Mind, we believe that we are whole, perfect, and complete. So if our lives are manifesting in a way that is not whole, perfect, and complete, or if we are experiencing our lives as painful, then there is a thought or an underlying belief underneath the pain that is getting in the way, that is driving our manifestation. The thought causing pain is an untruth, and it does not lend itself to the integrity of our being, that beingness of whole, perfect, and complete. So the integrity of our being is enforced by good and positive thoughts. So if there is pain, we are encouraged to be curious, to be really curious about that pain and about what is getting in the way of our natural state of health. of that natural state that we arrived on the planet, how we arrived on the planet. Number 3, let pain be your pathway. It's important to acknowledge the pain that we are experiencing at any given moment, but it is also equally as important to not let it stop us from moving forward in our lives, from moving forward into a brighter future or a better life. Pain is the invitation to replace the consciousness that is the underlying cause of the pain with a renewed commitment to actually demonstrating or manifesting our best life. The invitation is to do the inner work, to discover the underlying thoughts and beliefs that fueled the choices and the actions that have supported the pain, and be willing to heal and release them. I believe that if we do so, we will notice that that shedding those old ways and old beliefs actually allows us to deepen our faith. And by doing that, we will manifest the life that we really want to live, the life that we have longed for. Our journey through the pain is our pathway to joy, to love, to peace, and to freedom. The invitation is for each of us to let the pain speak to us of its wisdom, and then to allow ourselves to seek the wholeness that is being offered in that moment. Lean into the pain, discover the message that it is here to give us, forgive the untruth that we have been thinking prior to this moment, and reclaim our wholeness. Kahlil Gibran says, your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. The breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. It is said that pain is inevitable, but that suffering is optional. Trying to avoid the inevitable pain, messiness, and unpredictability that comes with life only serves to create suffering. At the very least, we will stub a toe, fall down, or get sick. We will experience loss, job frustrations, relationships that do not work, and a bank account that barely covers our bills. How we deal with the pain is up to us. Suffering is caused by the illusion that we should never have pain. If we can recognize the message in the pain and move to restore wholeness, then suffering could never be a result. Suffering is not only optional, but it actually gets in the way of our healing. My guess is that most of us have spent much of our lives really resisting and trying to outrun or outsmart or outperform our pain by really trying to make sure that the things and the experiences of our lives are certain and definite, that we categorize things as black or white, good or bad, and all or nothing in order to make ourselves feel safe and in control. However, our inability to really lean into the pain and discomfort restricts our ability to fully experience love, or to fully experience fulfillment or belonging or trust or joy or creativity in our lives. It's natural, really natural, for all of us to seek the path of least resistance. But until we face our discomfort, we will continue to waste our time and energy. Instead of dodging our feelings, we need to move toward them and eventually work through them until it's no longer uncomfortable. In general, the invitation is to cultivate a habit, if you're going to cultivate a habit at all, is to cultivate the habit of leaning into the pain. When we are able to do so, we can spend our time becoming better people instead of running away from the important things that we don't want to face. Leaning into our discomfort gets easier. I promise you, it gets easier as we practice. And eventually, we might not even think about avoiding negative emotions. We could get to that place. It could become second nature to do the inner work, because deep down, we really know there's something within us that really knows that there is something better waiting for us on the backside of that inquiry. If we learn how to be even just a little teeny bit more comfortable with pain and discomfort, we could manage any challenge that came our way. By allowing ourselves to lean into what is, we can transform our lives. In the words of Pema Chodron, instead of blaming our discomfort on outer circumstances or on our own weakness, we can choose to stay present and awake to our experience, not rejecting it, not grasping it, not buying the stories that we relentlessly tell ourselves. This is priceless advice that addresses the true cause of suffering, yours, mine, and of all human beings. So how do we become the kind of person that welcomes being pushed by pain, who fearlessly leans into the discomfort? We do this by acknowledging what we feel and by recognizing that the pain can be our greatest teacher. We do this by fully committing to doing the inner work to discover the underlying thoughts and beliefs that fueled the choices and the actions that supported the pain for all these years, and be willing to heal and release them. We can do this by having the tough conversations, getting up when we would rather stay in bed, figuratively and literally, or by doing something instead of complaining. It means making the right choice rather than the easy choice, and trusting that all will eventually be well, even when our fear is telling us the complete opposite. We do this by getting into the game and not standing on the sidelines watching it. It means not taking the easy way, but choosing to have some skin in the game. We do this by believing that the pain can be the right and perfect fertilizer for the soil of our consciousness, and that it represents the deepest call of our soul. We do this by knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that pain is not a punishment, that it is actually an opportunity to move away from something that is out of alignment with our deepest desires and toward what we really want. We do this by realizing that we are standing in the middle of a miracle and being willing to surrender our need to know and to control. We do this by having the faith of God and trusting that the universe is always for us and never against us. And finally, we do this by recognizing that pain can be a stunningly beautiful lesson, and that we can choose to let go of our resistance, lean into the discomfort, and allow ourselves to be pushed by pain. And so it is. So it is. Please close your outer eyes and turn within if you are comfortable in doing so. It is here in that inner sanctuary that I recognize the allness of life, the fullness of life, the truth of life, the givingness of life, the creativity of life, the joy of life. I know that it truly is who and what I am, that right where I am, God is in its fullness and in its wholeness. That I am one with it, created by it, in its image and likeness. And just as I know that this is my truth, I absolutely know that it is the truth of each and every person here with us for service this morning, perhaps listening at a later time. Every single person in our community, all sentient beings on the planet, we are all divine emanations of the One, imbued with all that it is, ambassadors of its presence. And it is from that place of unity that I speak these words about and for each of us today. Truly, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation. That there is that within us that absolutely knows who we are. That is not confused by any experience that we've had, anything that we've been told by well-meaning people. That is not swayed by the demands of our particular cultures or races or families or religions or friends. That really stands firmly grounded in the truth of who we are as divine beings. Absolutely knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are here to experience the fullness of life, and that inevitably, at times, includes pain and discomfort and hardship. And that doesn't have to mean that it is a punishment or something that we've done wrong, but it can be pointing to something that is wanting to come up to be healed, to be just put in the light of the divine. That is really letting us know that we are ready to grow, or that we are ready to change, to transform not only ourselves, but our lives. That pain is letting us know that we are ready. And so I claim ease and grace for us around doing the inner work to recognize the thoughts and the beliefs that are underneath that pain, and to do whatever is necessary to heal them, to get assistance through a practitioner or a minister or a spiritual community to heal those untrue thoughts, those false beliefs, to be able to release them and letting go and let them go. I claim ease and grace around really stepping into our wholeness, recognizing our pain for what it is and doing whatever is necessary and not running from it or avoiding it or hiding from it, but really doing whatever is necessary for us to heal it, to grow, to evolve, to transform. I know that we are in the perfect space and place to do that we can support each other as we do so. And I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that closes those words in form. And so I speak them and I release them with love and gratitude and full expectation of their manifestation. And I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and for others. Together we affirm that the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency in the world. Please place your hand on your heart with your gift or an intention for our community, and let's say our giving affirmation. We will do so as a call and response, and we invite Lissa to come back to represent the community. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I give with gratitude, knowing God is my source.
I give with gratitude, knowing God is my source.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Lissa. Thank you, community, for all of your gifts of your time, talent, and treasure. I so appreciate each and every single one of you. And now please welcome back to her piano the amazing, the talented, the wonderful Cindy Johnson.
Thank you. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind
Beautiful, Cindy. Thank you so much. My soul is ready. If you would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org, and on the home page there is a button in the upper right hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get that prayer and send it out to all of the ministers and practitioners. Please join us for Let's Stay Connected immediately following the service on Zoom. The link is in the Wednesday newsletter. And this is a shout out to anyone who would like to have a more intimate community experience as they walk their spiritual path. I am so grateful for my home group. Home groups provide intimate and supportive relationships in a growing center. Up to 10 individuals meet monthly, usually in a member's home, under the guidance of a trained group leader for food, fellowship, and discussion. Members share issues and concerns, learn more about the philosophy, faith, and way of life, of science of mind, and engage in spiritual rituals such as prayer and discussion of ways to apply your spirituality in the world. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living has had home groups for many years, and we would like to extend this opportunity to others who would like to participate. If you would like to join a home group, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org. Now, please mark your calendars and save the date for our next community picnic. This will be an outdoor gathering of our community on Saturday, June 19th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bring your own food, drinks, and chairs, though there are picnic tables, and join us as we celebrate life and seeing each other once again. Everyone is welcome, although we are limited to 50 people. You can register for this by sending an email, once again, to info@trianglecsl.org. And join us as we celebrate Father's Day, Juneteenth, and the summer solstice. This next announcement is to let you know that our beloved Sandy Hemingway has released his second CD. It's called 95 Seconds of Normal, and it's a collection of positive, life-affirming, and spiritual but not religious music. It is available through most digital distributors. You can use this link, sandyhemingway.hearnow.com, to get to the links for Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. Please join us in supporting our friend Sandy Hemingway. And his last name is spelled Hemenway. In the comfort of your own home, let's please stand for our June affirmation. This is a call and response, so please say it with meaning and repeat after me. The lovely Lissa will join us once again. Thank you, Lissa. I am what the world has been waiting for.
I am what the world has been waiting for.
Any challenges I have faced in my life have prepared me for this moment.
Any challenges I have faced in my life have prepared me for this moment.
I embrace pain as an invitation to higher consciousness and deeper love.
I embrace pain as an invitation to higher consciousness and deeper love.
I commit to showing up authentically and choose to live the life of my dreams.
I commit to showing up authentically and choose to live the life of my dreams.
As I choose to live authentically, I inspire others to do the same.
As I choose to live authentically, I inspire others to do the same.
I move forward in my life from a place of love and acceptance.
I move forward in my life from a place of love and acceptance.
I consciously and confidently live my own truth.
I consciously and confidently live my own truth.
And so it is.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lissa. Once again, I invite you to close your outer eyes and turn within as I speak a benediction. Recognizing in this moment the amazing source that is God, the one love intelligence that governs the universe. knowing that source as love, as perfection, as comfort. I know that I am one with it, that there is no separation between that love and who I am. I know that as the truth of me, and I know that as the truth of each of you listening here today. Knowing in this moment that this week ahead is blessed and held by a universe that only ever says yes to us. I know that our lives are blessed from our connection with it and with each other. I know this week will flow with grace and ease, and that all that is required of us comes easily, and as we focus on the now moment, we are able to release any fixation we have with perceived pain in our life and allow Spirit to grow us and to widen the vessel that we are to be a greater comfort and peace and example of God's love in this universe. I'm so grateful to know these truths, and I ask you to anchor this with me by saying, and so it is. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, everybody. So great to have you with us today. Have a really wonderful week, and we will see you next week. I love you all madly. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.